Are you failing at reality testing? Hi guys, my name is Chloe Hudson and welcome to World Peace Projects. Do you know the difference between observation and evaluation? Is it common for your inner child to speak in stories? Do you often like to convince yourself into and out of experiences, ideas, choices, and relationships? Krishnamurti, an Indian philosopher, once stated, "To separate observation from evaluation is the highest form of human intelligence." Stories are important if you want to hold on to emotions and feelings. Emotions equal energy in motion. Motions are designed to flow through us. But what if we want to hold on to them? What if we want to remain defensive and resentful towards someone? Or what if we want to remain in a limerant, love-bombed state? How do we put reality on pause? How do we put reality on hold and escape into our chosen feelings? Well, we could create stories designed to offer these emotions residency in our body and in our consciousness. And we can allow the unmet needs that we are experiencing to catalyze our future tripping stories. When we feel these feelings, we reaffirm their importance and presence by reaffirming or elaborating on our stories that complement these feelings. Robert Greene talks about how we really don't know people. We only have perceptions of them. We can never truly understand what they're thinking or how they think or feel about us. We also enjoy being seduced from a very young age. To be picked up and whisked away into a secure, comforting, loving, and nurturing embrace is what we live for. We also become seduced by difficult, challenging, depressive, or aggressive feelings. We tend to hold on to and grasp what we have been seduced by. Stories, colored evaluations, judgments, and criticisms offer us reasons to cling to these seductive emotions. If you desire to be needed, to be viewed as a savior and a hero, then if someone love bombs you, seduces you, and conjures up a chaotic change within your environment, or if they tell you that they love you and cannot live without you, then you may tell yourself a story through evaluation that this person does love you. They need your help. This must mean that you are important and desired, and you must love them too. What if you were able to observe the exact facts of what is happening with no story, no evaluation? Then you may see that this person has also gotten the attention of other people in the environment, which may create peer pressure for you to make a choice. They are saying, "I love you, I need you," with intensity and heightened emotion. They have never acted this way before, though, and they're wanting you to make quick and life-altering changes and decisions with an unrealistic time allowance that does not offer you spaciousness to think about this rationally. These decisions may also require you to make certain important lifestyle changes that benefit them immediately. They may have made several promises and told you stories about the future. They may be acting out of character from how they normally appear to be. If you have an interaction with somebody and experience conflict and you become very defensive and angry, then it may be simple for you to begin ruminating on reasons why this person deserves and has earned your defensiveness. Though, if you were able to observe the exact words exchanged and the surrounding circumstances, you may notice that you have become triggered by what they have said because you interpreted their intentions in a specific way, though you may have never verified this interpretation with them. You may also have never observed, without evaluation, what you said. How could your words and actions have been perceived? So now you have a story without facts. Some of us hold on to stories for years. We imprison people in situations into an unrealistic evaluation of judgment because we are not courageous and wise enough to live in the reality of the situation. We tend to personalize, and oftentimes being honest with ourselves about the facts will require us to reveal that we are inaccurately harboring stories in order to justify our emotions. These emotions may actually not suit or fit the situation. And these feelings may be all that we have left of that person and that connection, that situation or that relationship. So if we let go of these feelings and emotions, then we will have to let go of the person, situation, or relationship. The emotions and feelings give us a reason to stay connected to them, even if only through painful, delusional, or unrealistic feelings and stories. In my experience, blame is equal to the inner toddler reaching up and hoping to be picked up and held and comforted. Blame is a plea for acknowledgement, which reveals that you desire their attention in some way if you're blaming them. Living in fantasy offers a variety of feelings, both positive and negative. Most people have stories, but not reality. Reality is usually very different than our perception. The question is, are you brave enough to be honest with yourself and reveal how much or how little you're actually perceiving through reality and not illusion? If you think that you may have been manipulated, love-bombed, trauma-bonded with, but you ignored or dismissed it, then ask yourself, did you have to completely reframe your perceptions in order to adopt their story? Then challenge yourself to look at the facts. What sacrifices have you made in this situation? Was that a decision you made through influence or of your own idea? What sacrifices have they possibly made? Did they make that of their own idea, or were they influenced? What are they gaining from the situation? What are you gaining from the situation? What are any underlying motivations and intentions? Have you had to make decisions that forced you to abandon or exploit your morals and ethics? Was there dramatic experiences and loss of other relationships in dramatic ways in order to solidify this relationship that you are currently in or were in? Was that even necessary? Do their actions match their words? Is the give and take balanced here? If you are holding on to a defensive perception towards someone, then ask yourself, do the exact verbatim words that they said match your story? Have you been paraphrasing or misconstruing their words or actions? Do the exact words or actions match the intensity of your feelings? Can you challenge yourself to understand why they may have said these things or have done these things? Was their conscious intention to harm you, to upset you, etc.? Or are you simply perceiving that there was? Are you possibly missing another point of view that may offer you a different understanding? If you are trapped in your stories, then look for your unmet needs and feelings. Nonviolent communication by Marshall Rosenberg is an excellent practice that can support you in this. You are allowed to feel the way that you feel. You are allowed to have unmet needs. We all do. Your feelings are not up for debate. Your feelings are your truth. Your stories may be false, but your feelings and needs are real. If anyone ever tries to tell you that your feelings are not valid, real, or accurate, or if they try to explain away your emotions, then they are always manipulating you. They are gaslighting you. Your feelings and emotions are your truth. If someone cannot accept your feelings, then that is their truth, not yours. People do not have the right to coerce you out of your truth simply because they do not like it and because your truth does not serve them. Stories require coercion and manipulation. The more we tell ourselves stories, the more we coerce and manipulate ourselves. And the more susceptible and likely we are to experience others coercing and manipulating us. Also, the less likely we are to realize what is actually happening as opposed to the stories being told. This is because we are comfortable in manipulation. Connor Beaton of Man Talks teaches that if you have a more anxious attachment style, then you may be telling yourself a story that in order for you to be okay, you need that person to be okay. And if they are okay, then you are allowed to be okay. You probably experienced very unpredictable caretakers and may now experience clinginess. You may try to fix people. If you have a more avoidant attachment style, then you may tell yourself a story that you need to protect yourself from intimate vulnerability, and that it is not safe for you to trust your emotions with the people around you. You probably experienced unavailable caretakers. You likely use blame often, and you probably view yourself in a better light than others more often than not. If you have a more fearful avoidant attachment style, you may tell yourself that you don't feel lovable and that you don't trust people who try to support you and actually do support who you are. You probably experienced unpredictable and unreliable caretakers, and you did not establish reliability and safety as a child. So now you are likely emotionally and intimately unpredictable. You probably tell yourself stories of why you cannot trust your person and how they will abandon you eventually. You may future trip about how they will prove to you that you cannot trust them. And if you are experiencing someone that is projecting any of these stories onto you, and you're not aware of their stories or their attachment style, and of your stories and your attachment style, then you will probably create more stories that explain to you why they may be treating you as untrustworthy, pushing you away, or needing to fix you. All of these scenarios tend to create self-fulfilling prophecies, which are usually used to validate and reaffirm our stories. And then this just creates more stories. If we do not understand why we do what we do, or why we perceive the way that we perceive, then we are enslaved to our stories because we are ignorant to our truth. We will continue to blame others for our internal wounds that formed long ago, before we ever met these people or this person that we're having an experience, relationship, or in a situation with. We may be very attracted to love bombing, trauma bonding, and manipulation because we are comfortable doing this to ourselves through our stories. So, get real. Do you tend to push people away because you are terrified that they will hurt you if you show vulnerability? Do you choose commitment through love bombing because you need to be needed and are too cowardly to claim a relationship of your own free will? Do you chase after people because you believe that their presence means that you are worthy, valuable, and lovable? What is your story? How are you overlaying your stories onto your career, friends, romantic partners, finances, etc.? If you cannot live in reality, then you cannot command your life. If you are not being honest with yourself, then you are acting in a cowardly manner. You are choosing cowardice over honesty and transparency with yourself. And you are emotionally punishing and harming your inner child and the people in your environment that actually want to engage in reality with you. You will blame them and you will blame reality because you are acting too cowardly to be honest with yourself and others. You will destroy healthy relationships and situations only to escape into manipulative situations and false relationships in order to protect your stories. If and when you want to snap out of it, you will realize that your choice to be deceived, to deceive and to hide your truth from those around you has always been your free will choice. You may then choose to blame yourself, but that will just start a whole new story. So ask yourself, who would you be without blame, without defensiveness, without love bombing, without trauma bonding, without coercion, without manipulation, without unhealthy seduction, and without stories? What does that reality look like? And are you courageous enough to create it for yourself? Are you failing at reality testing? If so, how can you pass? How can you wake up and get real? Because you are the only one who can change your life. And this does not mean that you have to do it alone. Do you feel worthy enough to live in reality? Do you need help figuring out how you are not living in reality? And if you decide that you do not feel worthy enough to live in reality, then at least you are willing to be honest with yourself about it for a moment before you slip back into an illusion.